Okay, in 2017 really was, we set out to do three things. First was to restructure the balance sheet and get ready for growth. Secondly was to start the digital journey. And thirdly was to focus a lot on service. So what happened was Wema Bank used to have negative retained earnings. With the approval of the shareholders, approval of regulators, we were able to clean that off. Secondly was to start building the building blocks for the digital journey. So last year we launched Alert, Nigeria's first digital bank. And in the last few months, we've seen a lot of traction. On an average day now, we opened 1,200 accounts on the Alert platform. Thirdly for us was continue to drive service improvement. So we've seen our KPMG ratings move from 12th position to number 8. And this year our plan is to get top 5. So 2017 was largely just restructuring the core and getting the balance sheet ready for growth.
And there are those who actually say 2018 is the year for the banks to ensure they bank the unbanked. It's about getting more people into your nets. Now, talking about the high number recorded in deposits, would you say Alert was solely responsible for that? What other strategies did the bank employ to ensure this?
Okay, the journey for us, Alert is a marathon. We see it as a 2 to 3 year journey. We're starting small, ramping up. In terms of numbers of accounts opened, right now Alert contributes like 50% of accounts opened in the bank. The plan is, latest by the end of this year, we should digitize account opening. We want to be the first bank where accounts are opened without paper forms. So as the journey starts, 50, 60, 70, then we start ramping up. What Alert has also done is it's lowered the cost to acquire. So you don't need papers, you don't need physical offices to open accounts. And that also includes financial inclusion. And so the plan is really digitize the product and they start digitizing the bank.
Interesting. Let's go back to the first question I asked about, of course, the first payment in 10 years. Why now, basically? And then, of course, how are shareholders responding to this news? And when will this payment come through? Okay.
The first thing for us was to clean up the negative retained earnings. That came about in 2009 during the restructuring years of the bank. So we took a long time to get that done. So 2017 financials shows positive retained earnings. Now we've assured shareholders that firstly to get the retained earnings positive, and then the next step is to start providing returns to shareholders. The planned dividend will most likely be in the 2019 first quarter, but really is to show that now we've cleaned up the balance sheet and we are ready to pay. Shareholders have been with us. Wema is a 72-year-old bank. They've been with us through thick and thin. Now is the time to also start bringing some returns to them.
Now, of course, you also understand you're planning a second tranche of 50 billion naira debt issue. Let's talk about the first tranche and how did that perform, and of course, your outlook for the second one.
Okay. The first tranche was done in 2016, and we recorded a 60% success. Was good, but then rates were high. So what we felt was take as much as we could, use it, optimize it, stretch the balance sheet. Now in 2018, a number of things are coming into play. The balance sheet is efficient. The story of the Wema Bank is better. The results show positive growth. And most importantly, market rates are low. So we felt let's take advantage of this opportunity within the market and come on the back of improved performance and go to the market.
Now, Wema also plans to increase lending by 10% this year. Just talk us through the sectors, that's going to be your major focus. What sectors are you hoping to back?
Largely two things. Firstly is the SME area. What we did was get a number of partnerships. We got some funding from ADB, from ICD, for on-lending to SMEs. Secondly, really, there have been some customers that showed resilience even during the tough period. So where there are opportunities to further entrench ourselves within those customers, we would do. But our large focus remains the SME segment of the market.
But SME is really large to begin with, of course, and they all fall under different sectors and subsectors as well. And that's what I'm asking. Is it going to be around agriculture? Is it going to be around services? What is it going to be? Two
things, around services and around general commerce. Nigeria is still largely a trading concern. So the emphasis is do shorter tenured loans, at least till some more clarity around the economy. So loans, 180-day, 270-day related loans. But where we also see opportunity for long-term partnerships, we would do. So within the professional space, within general commerce space, we do a lot more there.
Now, how easy is it for an entrepreneur to get loans from Wema Bank? I mean, what is the criteria? What do you ask for?
A number of things. It's not that easy. But interestingly, the collateral registry that has been set up a couple of months ago, first, let's even start testing it and confirm, can we realize these collaterals? Can we go back and get them?
What do you have on those collaterals? I mean, you have those entrepreneurs who are just starting and they basically don't even have any property to begin with.
The number of things we check, track record, if they have, what I'll call the willpower, what I'll call the passion, they need to clearly demonstrate they understand their business model. They need to clearly demonstrate we can track the cash flows. So a number of these lendings will be cash flow based. Okay. So how well can we loop in and ensure the cash comes to the bank? And then with some comfort, we'll do the lending. Now,
your bank also expects 10% loan growth in 2018. Talk us through what's going to drive that.
Like I mentioned, a number of them will be the on-lending to SMEs in areas where we see opportunities. Oil and gas is still big. Oil and gas in our loan book is around 19%.
For you to go to that sector because I hear banks are still big on it.
But oil and gas downstream, Wema has traditionally shied away from the upstream segment, largely due to the small size of our balance sheet. So for us, it's the downstream trading segment, and we've done quite well with NPLs there around 1%.
And more any new innovations coming around the digital space for 2018? I mean, Alat is doing well, no doubt about that. Or what else do you have in the pipeline?
The first step is digitize the product, Alat. The next phase is digitize the bank. So we are pushing Alat aggressively. We're also strong in the USSD platform, the star 945. So for those that don't have data but want to do banking, they can get on the USSD platform. Really, for Wema, mobile is the way, and we think a mobile-driven strategy. A couple of years ago, if you mention Wema and digital, people say, how are you that sure? But Wema has come out to prove that indeed
Let me just squeeze this in. How is the Alat thing working really in the rural areas?
Not so well. Alat for us has been largely in the urban areas. But when we go to the semi-urban rural, we go with our data services. So it's still a lot data-driven.
All right.